think Gary now reads that thing now, right?
If everyone can sit comfortably, and we'll try to envision a wonderful healing for everyone. If everyone can imagine right where they are, as if you're outside in beautiful sunshine, radiating down on yourself. You can turn your face to the source and just feel imbued and invigorated. So much so it almost feels like a light mist of gentle healing waters along with the sunshine. Not hot, not cold, absolutely just perfect. Literally showering you with healing energy that feels like sunshine and warm mist, filling you fully inside. Sense all aches and pains being tended to by spirit and your own good intentions for yourself in your body, your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts. Allow it to heal. It's always there, and it's always good to pay attention to it when we need to feel strength. Everyone, please inhale some wonderful healing energy to mix with your healing thoughts. And one more time, inhale as if you're a balloon being stretched, and relax as it exits your lungs. And gently take another breath casually. And you can imagine you are absolutely saturated and there's healing energy coming off of you now, radiating outwards in excess. And it will affect the people around you. We are all completely filled with healing energy. And we allow it to do what it needs to do for ourselves. And so it is. Thank you, everyone. Slowly come back to our screens and our service.
Gary Dillon, Mr. Deacon Gary Dillon.
Beans. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Today's reading and homily is taken from a fable of a conversation between a peasant and a clay pot. Forgive me if I've used this before. We don't recollect that I have used this in any homily yet. And there is more than one version, so I'll simplify it to a generic form. Firstly, you must imagine a long stick or branch used as a yoke across a person's shoulders, behind their neck. And on each end is a clay pot hanging down as if they were hanging plant baskets, except these are water pots. Our peasant in our story goes to the river daily to retrieve water. One of the two pots has a crack in it, and some water drips out along the entire path back to our peasant's home. Now, we imagine that the clay pot can have a verbal conversation with our water bearer. The clay pot apologizes for being a cracked pot that leaks and asserts that it isn't good enough to be worthy of the water bearer's daily efforts and should be discarded and replaced. The person replies to the cracked pot that if it wasn't for its uniqueness, there would be not the beautiful array of flowers adorning the path that have grown there because of the leak of the cracked pot. It has accidentally given everyone a beautiful and cherished gift that nobody expected and all get to enjoy. And that the pot and all its imperfections have brought unforeseen beauty where nobody knew they even wanted it. Everyone in the village that has seen the beauty created by the crackpot appreciates and cherishes the crackpot and realizes that if they had judged it and dismissed it or discarded it and replaced it with a new one before the flower seeds had taken root and bloomed, they never would have witnessed the hidden beauty. Good morning, everyone. If anyone has ever considered themselves a crackpot, a nice good old slang term here, for anybody strange or different, but they've engaged in self-deprecation, I recommend considering that they've judged themselves too soon. And having patience and keeping an open mind is what will reveal the hidden beauties that they offer. They may be obvious to others, the beauties, as it was with the villagers, but the crackpot had no idea that it was responsible for the beautiful flowers. If everyone focuses on looking for beauty rather than the detriment or imperfections, then the energy is going in the wrong direction to make things better. And if things don't get better, we're still on a journey. Like the villagers, back and forth to the water source and home again. So many things in life are way beyond our control or power to change, which adds to the moral of appreciate the crackpot for not being the same boring cookie cutter person or situation, to add the philosophy of life is a journey, not a destination, which I know I've used that one before. And how we deal with the journey may not change one single thing outside of us and our abilities, but we can cherish the positivity inside ourselves. There is a quote I heard on the radio just this Friday, taken from a person recollecting their first ever therapy session from when COVID pandemic began. Just a little excerpt was advertised, and right away, the story goes, they were told right away, their first session, quote, "The only things we can control are our perception and our behavior," close quote. And in other words, I've recently said to a congregant that I commiserate with sometimes between services is talking about life in general and the big questions, is a new version of the old advice. If you woke up tomorrow morning and every single thing that you went to bed worrying about the night before were absolutely gone, vanished, solved, disappeared, would you ever worry again? It is so good to commiserate with like-minded people, to remind each other and ourselves the messages we want to keep at the forefront of our minds, for ourselves and for others, for whatever reason. They sometimes get circumvented with negative thoughts or events that distract us from remembering how we want to keep our thinking geared up for positivity. It happens, it's life, it's unavoidable. I absolutely must feed this question to myself again. because it's a fascinating image that I feel that what if I myself experienced the same exact thing I was giving as advice? What if I woke up and all my worries were gone about myself, about everything? Would I go find something else to worry about? Would I retain the same level of worry, but over different things now? If all my life's troubles were solved in a snap, overnight, would I take that as the impetus that presents itself, a challenge for myself to walk over the threshold into a new way of living and enjoying my life to the maximum, my journey? Or would I stick with the habit of maximizing my worries and concerns? Would I just fill that void with more of what I don't want because I'm used to it? I identify with it. I think of myself as a crackpot, or the world as, inherently flawed, and I'm what's the word? Powerless. Would I not change my behavior? Or will I change my perspective while everything is the same as it was before, and therefore change my feelings and therefore my behavior subsequently? Or will I change my behavior and then subsequently my perspective will begin to change? How about working on both of them at the same time? How about we just mix it all up and take it as it goes? I try not to, and try not to expect it to come as some Hollywood movie epiphany that we're all so used to enjoying on the silver screen or the small screen or in a book. It's so dramatic, but life really rarely ever actually happens that way. So I encourage everyone to look for the flowers. I encourage everyone to accept that the only things that we have control over existentially is our perspective and our behavior. I encourage everyone, including myself, to not try to change the entire world, but just their own little corner of it, so that no matter what the weather is outside, if we choose to have rainbows and sunshine in our hearts, we can choose to do so, because we know we're going to find our pathway of beautiful flowers eventually, since there are always going to be crackpots in life watering the soil as they go, whether they know it or not. So maybe if we're ever getting impatient, waiting for the flowers to bloom, we should embrace the positives and start randomly spreading the seeds of flowers and beauty and positivities and other things ourselves, and commiserate and socialize with other like-minded seed spreaders of positivity. Remind each other and ourselves often, and then see where the flowers pop up. Even if it's only in our dreams, so we wake up feeling like we have lost all of our worries each new morning, and maximize the positivities in all of our days ahead. That is our option. I say, everyone, enjoy your journey, and thank you for sharing it with me a little bit today, just now. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for the messages. Next time, if there's anybody who also has something they're inspired to give, that's always part of the service. For the meditation today, it's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little more of a lively, energetic feeling. I'd like everyone to be very physically comfortable so you can relax and exercise your imagination a little today. Take a deep breath and settle into your chair or couch, etc. It's going to be very individual. I want you all to feel lively and young and in great spirits and very celebratory, and imagine someplace you used to go to as a child, some memory of enjoyment, like a carnival. Bertrand's Island in Lake Pacon, a annual church bazaar, someplace where there's lots of activity and fun and games. And I want you to imagine going up to one of your favorite games, a ring toss or a ball throw or a dart throw, and winning. I'd like you to take that enjoyment of other people's company and black out everything else. We're just going with the pure joy and exhilaration of having won your little favorite game. And just soak that in for a moment. And I want you to imagine winning it again. And the high elevation emotionally. And going around and getting your favorite foods. And I want you to imagine years later, young person working hard, going to college, both, getting a random scratch off from somebody and winning. I want you to imagine that winning feeling, scratching that off and winning. Doesn't matter how much, it's all good, unexpected, a blessing, an absolute blessing, an easy blessing. Add a few years, imagine Super Bowl pool and you win, and how exhilarating and joyful and emboldening that is. The endorphin rush, the sharing of the joyousness. You feel like you are radiating happiness. Imagine anything. Imagine the lottery. Imagine walking on the boardwalk and you actually won that car raffle. All these wonderful feelings. And I do want you to let them soak in and marinate in that windfall. But now let it soak deeply into your soul, yourself, your being. Not the monetary windfall, but an emotional windfall, a spiritual windfall, an inflation of your spirituality, of joy and positivity, going from the materialistic money or car or toy or stuffed animal to a bank account of emotional resources, as if winning the lottery fills your bank account with money at the bank, your emotional, spiritual, and mental good health bank account, brimming and overflowing with positivity. And the feeling of knowing there is such tremendous amount of resources in that account, and the joy you felt when you won. We're winning every day. We're feeling joy every day. We have positivity coming to us every day, but we do have withdrawals from the account sometimes. But I want you to feel an innumerable amount of overflow of not just spiritual resource, but also strength and connection with all the people you would share a sweepstakes winning with. It's in there. We have it. Keep it in there, take it with you. And when those rainy days come, or time for a large withdrawal from this spiritual resource happens, we can plug ourselves back in to that feeling and joy at a place like a carnival, where we just ignore all the distractions. We put them all to the side. And when a small or large distraction of negativity comes along, remember that tremendous, ginormous spiritual bank account. Remember how capable you feel thinking about an innumerable spiritual bank account overflowing the vault. Everyone take a moment to solidify their image or feeling, or both. Take a moment to practice conjuring up your spiritual resources in times of stress. Take a moment to solidify a key word, phrase, thought, image, whatever it may be, a link that will help you ignore the distractions and remember the strength. And as we solidify this link, remember that vault will always refill automatically as long as we keep believing in the positivity, outweighing the negative, and we can always share that with others. Spiritual strength can be like hugs. You get more than you give. The more you give, the more you get. Positivity can easily replicate itself faster than it can be used up. And everyone, please take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. Taking one step back towards here and now. Take another deep breath, please. Let it out slowly, being between your thoughts and reality in front of our faces. And everyone, please take a third deep breath in and try to finalize coming back to the screens and the congregation and the service. Thank you, everyone, for sharing a little journey, and enjoy retaining your happiness and positivity. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.